o'clock on FS1 Saturday against Illinois, and then the final one 12:30 on Black Friday against Nebraska. Send in your player request by 9 a.m. and we'll get right to coach.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Certainly welcome everybody, and just in there thinking, 81 teams, so good to have them here. The Fry family, have them here with us, and it's been great to have a chance to interact a little bit. And think about having a guy like Andre Tippett with us yesterday. He was kind enough to come out to practice and visit with the team. And first of all, one of the things that I explained to our players, we throw these terms around so easily, Hall of Fame or All Conference and all that stuff. This guy was a two-time Hall of Fame player, both levels, college and the NFL. And there's so many outstanding players that never, make that mark. So it's fantastic. And he's a Hall of Fame person, too. It's just so good to have him back. And where I'm going with this whole thing, one thing you just shared about our team yesterday was just about the grit and resilience of the the 81 ball club, and that's really how I feel about tonight. Today, guys did a heck of a job. Obviously, we're really happy to get the win, but we really had to earn this. The guys worked hard, and each and every week it's all about improving, trying to get better, and moving forward. And I think our guys did a great job of that this week. We had a good week of practice preparation. Got back late last Saturday night, and the guys pushed forward and did a heck of a job. So. Really proud of them that way. Like I said, they prepared, competed, and Minnesota's a really veteran football team. I didn't really emphasize that on Tuesday. I didn't want to psych any of our guys out, but if you look at how many starts they have offensively up front, the quarterback, that one receiver is a very experienced guy, and they've got a lot of guys on defense that have played too. So we had great respect for them. Knew it would be a tough game, tough assignment, and they did a great job controlling the football. They ran it. It felt like for 400 yards. It was a 189 or whatever, but I think our guys did a great job capitalizing. When we had opportunities, we capitalized, made some big plays, protected the ball for the most part pretty well, and offensively we drove it, hit a big pass play to Charlie. Keegan did just a fantastic job of making more than something out of more than nothing really. And then the blocked field goal was huge, certainly a big play, and then Torrey right there at the end with two punts that gave them a starting on the 90-yard field to go. So, all those things are important if you're going to win. And these games are all physical. They're tough. That's what you'd expect in this conference. You expect it in November. So, again, just really proud of our guys. Great to move to 8 wins. And it's the best we could do this week. And the guys did a great job of that. And certainly great to have Floyd, back in our building for another year. So, just happy about all those things. We're going to enjoy this win for sure. We'll go back and look at it tomorrow, learn from it, and hopefully have a better week of practice than last week. And last but not least, certainly, is just I want to thank our fans. It was another great environment in Kinnick, and they really helped bring us home, so appreciate that. And a special thanks to the military, all the military folks that were here, those that, follow our team, and certainly great to have the F-35 pilots here, too. That was really a special treat for us, and they got to visit with the team. So appreciate them taking time and having interest, too. Those guys are Iowa natives. That helps. So anyway, it's all good. Far away. You can't bring me down tonight. Try as you may. Far away.
Nobody's going to remember this tomorrow, I'm guessing, but what was the strategy when you got the ball at the 3-yard line late in the game?
Sure. Yeah, they would have if we lost. I know that. And believe me, I had that thought at the time. There are 2 ways to go. You just try to go score right now, which I think they would have been happy with, and then the other thing, we wanted to burn a little clock. So, it's a chance. It's 5 points or it's whatever it would have been. Felt like our defense would be okay with the time that they got back when they got the ball back. What it was, 45 seconds, 44. Felt like we'd be fine. So we just felt you had 2 choices. We thought that was the smartest. We were not planning on losing 3 yards on that one run play, but that's the way that worked out. And Caleb stepped in there and did a great job.
Your defense was on the field for 40 minutes, yet at the end of the game, as gassed as they probably were, they still came up with 2 huge sacks, Van Valkenburg and then Evans at the end. What does it say about kind of their resilience to be able to weather 40 minutes of pounding like that and still come up with those big plays?
Yeah, I go right back to what Tip said, grit and resilience and facts are, they had their way with us in that first half. They were really working us. They did some things schematically that they don't normally do, or at least don't feature, and they clearly had a really good plan there, and it took us a while to adjust to that, not only schematically, but we weren't playing some of those blocks very well, and it's tough because they're big and they're strong and they're physical, so they were getting us turned a little bit and creating creases, and those backs do a good job of finding it, and credit to them. But I think we tweaked a couple things, but more importantly, we just played better in the second half and played a little stronger. I thought we got stronger as the game went on against a team that's really big and physical and veteran, like I said. So I'm really proud of our guys. I thought they really responded. And then, regarding Volk and Joe there, you're trying to get him in that situation, which, we really didn't have him there very much. And then we finally got that. And I was standing around, it was almost like watching slow motion, watch Volk come inside on that stunt. And then the rest of the game, they had it back and the tackle doubling them. But, it was good to get to that point finally. That was one of our goals.
Were you angry about the chop block? Do you think it was a chop block, or were you just mad at the flag, threw a flag? Or
I was upset that the flag was there and then it got picked up. But I'll say this, I really appreciate the candidness of the official, and I appreciate him coming over and telling me what he saw, what he thought he saw, and what the decision that was made. And you can deal with the honest truth, and I really do appreciate that. We got good officials in this league, so yep.
A couple of your standout.
Although the reviews, some of those spots, I got to see. Question about that.
Feel free, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing else to wait now. I'm sorry, Mike.
A couple of your standout players in this game were in here earlier, Jones and Van Valkenburg. You didn't go to them; they came to you basically.
Yep.
You got any observations about that, about recruiting and how sometimes it's the flip-flop that works?
Yeah, we've had a million players, millions an exaggeration, but a lot of players come through the program that were, maybe lower level guys, and according to everybody when they came out, and players change. It's like our team. I think our team's growing. I really felt like we took a step this week. I'll go back to last week. Your starting quarterback can't go. I'm setting it up for the next question. Your starting quarterback can't go, and somebody steps in there. You're on the road playing a team that's tough and gritty, and but yeah, it's funny, and I'll go back to like Jack Heflin too. There's another guy who's had a nice career at Northern, came over and just fit in really well with us. And I'd say the same thing about Charlie and Zach. And the thing about Zach, it's hard to evaluate. You're looking at Division II film, but the one thing about him, he went hard, and obviously he's a smart, mature guy. So you feel like if you get a little time, maybe this guy can grow into something. He has. And then Charlie, to me, was a real wild card. I just got done telling Ed and Gary, he almost kind of annoyed me a little bit early when he got here, and I think he knows this, but some idiosyncrasies that, and I'm sure he feels the same about me. But, you see him in live action. Once you get to live action, we don't practice kicking live. We knew pretty quickly last year that, boy, this guy's got great judgment fielding balls. He's reckless and just daring on the return part of it. Then the other part, he's really developed into a good receiver, as we saw today. That's a real credit to him. He's worked really hard at that, and got no problem with that. I love players like that, and that's certainly how he is. He just really, he does a lot of really good things.
Well, since you set it up, how's Spencer doing?
Yeah. Hopefully better. I think we're gaining ground. It's going a little slower than maybe we thought. But one thing I've learned about medicine, I'm not an expert. One thing I've learned about it, sitting in medical meetings for 23 years, you can't predict everything. You can't gauge things. So we'll continue to take it day by day. And I think the good news is I feel like we got two good quarterbacks now that we have faith and trust in.
What did you see from Alex today in his first career start?
Same thing, and I just, I don't know if anybody on the staff made it a big deal, but, we just all acted like, it's his turn, it's his time. He is the starter this week, and, I don't think he's a pretty even keel guy, as you've probably seen. So, I thought he did a really good job, and, he made some really good throws. It would have been nice if we could have hit that last one to Arlen down there, but we'll see it on tape. But, good decisions, the ball security part, played clean football. We had the one with Nico, right, trying to do a little too much, but and these kinds of football games, those things are all really big, and we don't take them for granted. We all have a lot of confidence because he prepares hard and works hard, and he really cares.
What's the next step for him in his development after now you have
Just keep playing, keep playing and keep growing. That's like every guy out there. So, there's no specific thing that he's like really lacking other than experience.
You guys only had the ball for 20 minutes, but I think Alex didn't take a sack today. Your offensive line probably more as consistent as probably they've been this season. Can just kind of evaluate what you saw out of your offensive line.
Those 72-yard plays kill you. They kill your possession time. But I'm joking. But I came off the field Wednesday feeling pretty good about the way we had practiced for 3 straight days, and almost to the point where I didn't want to watch a practice tape because I figured I'd find some things to shoot holes in. But I just felt like our guys were gaining some ground, especially up front. It was a really good day. And we can't practice in pads as much as you'd like this time of year. It just isn't realistic. So, I was hoping that would show up today, and I think it did. I think they competed hard. So, we got things to work on. But, again, you lose your left tackle last week too. So, all of a sudden, but guys just keep playing. They're filling in. I think we're making progress, but, it's going to be, we're not going to arrive. I don't think we'll arrive this year, actually. So, maybe if we play in January, arrive then. See what happens.
We got clipped on that 68-yard pass play, but the defense had come back right away, 2-point conversion, and then the rest of the game, the way they played.
Yeah, I just thought they really grew, right, because the game went on. I thought the guys really did a great job. And, again, going back to that last situation, we had confidence if we put them back out there with a 5-point lead, we'd be okay. Put a lot of pressure on Minnesota to, big difference between a field goal and, getting in the end zone, obviously. And then we didn't want to give them too much clock, though, to get those onside kicks. I hate those. So, anyway, it all worked out. But, yeah, really proud of the defense because they could have caved in there. It was a tough game for them.
You took a lot of shots down the field today, probably more than usual. Was that just part of the strategy or the way that they were covering your receivers?
Yeah, it's just, it's part of you plan during the week. And the one thing you never know is what are they going to do Saturday because, people change up a lot. And so you're never quite sure. But the one to the big play to Charlie, it was one that, we were kind of tracking what they're doing on first downs. And so we figured, hey, it might be time to take a shot. And luckily it was there. And, really good job by both, Alex and Charlie hooking up there.
And then talking about Keegan, to be able to break a tackle the way he did, we had a very experienced lineman being one of the two guys that was there to hit him, and he's able to pull away from that. He did it with Penn State too. What is it about him that makes him able to?
Takes some strength, obviously, but the bigger thing is just takes a guy who's really competitive. And you mentioned the Penn State one today. Arlen last week on that around, he wasn't going to get tackled, and you can see why we've been so impressed with those guys because they just act like football players. And I'd love to tell you we coach that, but we're trying to coach everybody to do that. But that play, just watching on the replay board, I couldn't see from the sideline, but watching on the replay board was really impressive, and just a great effort. That's one guy just making a great effort, and sometimes it takes that.
Building off of that question, how impressed are you with Keegan's ability, just as a true freshman, to develop into one of these key targets and a prominent offensive player on this team?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing some freshmen that I'm not sure we, did it by design or do it by design. But those two guys, since they've gotten here, have really acted like they belong, he and Arlen. And they play a position where you have a little better chance, I think, of competing with older guys. I can't say enough about Connor Colby playing in there at guard. And I haven't seen tonight's film, but he's working at it, getting better. And again, the thing you're impressed with him, he's a flatline guy. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but there's not a lot of peaks and valleys. He just shows up and keeps working. I can tell you he's mentally tough. He's proven that already. Playing with some nicks and all that kind of stuff. So, and our whole team, we got, it's kind of like a divide. We got a good veteran group, and they're doing a really good job of leading. But then we got a lot of guys that haven't played in a lot. Now we're 10 games into it, so that's certainly a little different. But we don't have that. We're not. If you look at our roster experience compared to the team we played tonight, there's a big difference, and that's encouraging to me. I can tell you that, and I do think about that a lot. And that's one of the reasons I think this team's going to improve if we keep our focus where it needs to be, and we got to practice well. But the older guys are helping us with that focus part of it and the practice part.
You guys talk about first place. I mean, there are only 2 weeks left.
About which?
First place. In a way.
Oh, first place. I got you. I thought you said first place. I was like, yeah. I mean, we talk about that. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. We went through a 2-game losing streak there, and at that point, it's just about we got to get back up on our feet. Yeah, and really, I mean, we're cognizant. I talk to the guys about November football just in general, and one of 3 things are happening. You're either ascending, you're tanking, or you're just kind of like getting through it. And really, in a lot of conferences, this is where things get decided. In the NFL, it's usually December. So, what are you going to do to hit the gas pedal? And it's a tricky dynamic because you can't practice like you do in August. So, you're navigating that. You're navigating injuries, mental state of guys, all those kinds of things. But I go back to leadership. I think that's where things show. And, we've had 2 good weeks now this month. I'll go back to the 81 team. We were 5-1. We were everybody's darlings for obvious reasons. I mean, it was a pretty good start after 2 decades of futility. And then we lost 2 games. And I remember those feelings. Like, you remember losses more than you do wins. And it was Illinois and Minnesota. Minnesota got the ball rolling over here, and then Illinois. And we came back and beat Purdue here, and ended up running the table in November. So, I'm not worried. I'm worried about it, but I'm not saying we're going to run the table or, end up in Pasadena, but it's possible, I guess, right? So, but I know this, we got to try to win 9 first. First thing we could do is win 9, and it'd sure be good if we did it next week.
Padilla had 3 touchdowns, 9 yards per attempt, played pretty well. Spencer's injury. Is it safe to say he's your guy for Illinois next week, or too early?
Well, we'll see what happens in practice. I don't know. I mean, Spencer couldn't have thrown it today. We would have maybe used him if it was like a 4-minute situation, that type of thing, just to manage things. But, we'll see what happens next week. But, again, I feel good. We have 2 good quarterbacks now. I think that all of us trust, at least everybody internally, we all trust both of them.
It's not very
Last
often
one.
that you give up 200 yards rushing in 3 quarters to 2 freshmen. What went wrong there?
Well, I guess I think I explained earlier. I think, they had some good schematic things that we had to really try to adjust to. And then, a lot of times it's about players, too. They got really good players. These guys run the ball. And, last week they fell behind, and that put them took them out of their comfort zone a little bit. Today the game was close enough all the way. They're able to do what they want to do, and, they're pretty damn good at it, quite frankly. So a lot of respect for them. And, but again, I'm proud of the way our guys, I thought we improved as the game went on, especially in that fourth quarter. We bowed up when we had to and got some stops. And so, nobody wants to give up 180 yards rushing. At least I can tell you we don't. I mean, that's not the neighborhood we want to live in. But proud of the way guys responded. And it's ultimately it's about finding a way to be successful. If it takes a punt return, block punt, whatever, that's what it takes. There are 2 great punts there to put them down there. But that's the beauty of team football, and it's week to week. And when you play a team like this, these guys can probably run the ball against most anybody. And I got to tell you, that 4th down play they hit, I mean, I'm not an expert, but that was Auburn in the Outback Bowl 2 years ago, right? Same damn play, or at least same situation. So shame on us there, but that gives us something to work on, and hopefully we'll be ready to go. Okay, thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you.